How did women defend themselves in the Middle Ages? A deep look at survival, strategy, and strength. The Middle Ages, roughly spanning from the 5th to the late 15th century, is often imagined as a harsh and dangerous time filled with wars, invasions, and rigid social hierarchies. In this environment, personal safety was not guaranteed, especially for women. Contrary to the common belief that medieval women were always passive and defenseless, many developed practical, social, and sometimes physical methods to protect themselves. Their strategies varied depending on class, location, culture, and circumstances. But one thing is clear: women in the Middle Ages were far more resourceful and resilient than often portrayed. Social protection, community as defense. One of the most important forms of protection for medieval women was community. Villages and towns operated as tightly connected societies where everyone knew each other. Women relied heavily on family ties, neighbors, and social reputation for safety. A woman living alone was considered vulnerable, which is why widows often stayed near relatives or remarried quickly, not just for economic reasons, but also for protection. Reputation also functioned as a defensive tool. Women carefully guarded their public image, as being perceived as respectable could discourage harassment or violence. A strong social standing meant others were more likely to intervene if she was threatened. In small communities, harming a respected woman could lead to social backlash, fines, or even punishment. Legal rights and appeals. Although medieval legal systems were male-dominated, women still had some legal protections. In many regions of Europe, women could report assault, theft, or harassment to local courts. Records from medieval towns show women bringing cases against abusive husbands, violent neighbors, or criminals. Some women used the legal system strategically. For example, filing complaints to discourage repeat harassment, appealing to local lords or clergy for protection, using witnesses to strengthen their claims, invoking church law in cases of abuse. Church institutions sometimes played a protective role. A woman could seek sanctuary in a church if she feared violence. Religious authorities also condemned certain forms of abuse, especially against widows, nuns, and married women. Physical self-defense. While not universal, some medieval women learned to physically defend themselves. This was more common in noble families, frontier regions, merchant households, warrior cultures. Historical manuals from the late Middle Ages, including fencing books, show that women were sometimes trained in weapons. Noble women, especially those managing estates during wartime, learned to use daggers, swords, or bows. Castles under siege often depended on everyone, including women, to help defend walls, pour boiling liquids, or fire arrows. Peasant women also used everyday tools as weapons: knives used for cooking, wooden staffs, farm tools like sickle stones or household objects. These were not formal weapons, but in dangerous situations they became practical means of defense. Clothing and hidden weapons. Some women carried small concealed weapons. The most common was a dagger. These were easy to hide and useful for close-range defense. A small blade could be carried in belt pouches, sleeves, hidden pockets under cloaks. Traveling women, especially merchants or pilgrims, were more likely to carry defensive tools. Even a simple knife could deter attackers. In some regions, women also used walking sticks, which doubled as support and protection. Defensive architecture. Women living in towns and castles benefited from structural defenses. Homes were designed to protect occupants, Heavy wooden doors, iron locks and bars, small windows, upper floor living areas, courtyard layouts. In castles, noble women sometimes supervised defense during their husband's absence. Historical accounts describe women organizing guards, rationing food, and coordinating resistance during sieges. Even rural homes were built with defense in mind. Animals were kept nearby, neighbors were close, and doors were secured at night. Collective defense was common. If danger appeared, villagers gathered quickly. Religious protection religion played a major role in psychological and social protection. Many women carried crosses, prayer beads, religious charms, protective symbols. While these did not physically stop attackers, they provided emotional strength and cultural deterrence. Some attackers feared divine punishment, especially in deeply religious communities. Convents also served as safe spaces. Women who felt threatened could join religious life. While this meant giving up worldly freedoms, it offered safety, food, shelter, and community,